The radio said my words before I spoke. The logbook showed my entry before I signed. I froze in the hallway. Empty building. No voices but mine. So why did I hear myself first? And how did my name end up on a page I hadn't touched? I'm a night security officer at a medical office park. For low buildings. Glass lobbies, carpeted halls, bad coffee. I started last week. Filling in for a guy on leave. It's quiet after 10. Too quiet sometimes. The handbook had a one-page insert for nights. Rules in block letters. Don't read the logbook out loud. Don't acknowledge radio chatter on channel 3 after 2 a.m. If the freight elevator arrives uncalled, do not board. If a door alarm stutters, verify visually before silencing. If you hear your name and no one is there, call the office. I asked Sam, the day guy, about the logbook line. He said it was to keep you from broadcasting your location. Makes sense. Still felt strange to see it printed. I don't spook easy. Basements, roofs, empty stairwells. You get used to your own echo. First night I did my rounds quiet. Signed the first station at 11:03. Wrote the temp, the lights, the doors. On the second station, someone had penciled my name and the time. Same handwriting as mine. Light like a practice trace. I rubbed it. Graphite smudged my finger. I told myself Sam probably pre-filled a grid. Third station read 113 next to my initials. My watch said 109. I stared at that 13 like it meant something. I kept moving. At the lab wing, I slipped and read the temp aloud without thinking. 22.1. My radio crackled and said, in my voice, 22.1. I froze. I hadn't keyed the mic. I wasn't touching it. It had said the words half a heartbeat before mine. Feedback? Ghost recording? I whispered, test. The radio whispered test right before me again. I called the office. Night dispatcher said channel 3 was quiet. I wasn't on 3. I switched to 3 and heard nothing but faint air. I switched back. My skin felt 2 sizes too small. I wrote the temp quietly and kept my voice in my head. On the fourth station, the prior line read 113 again. Initials looked like mine. I checked my watch. 1:12. A door chirped on the panel by the stairs. Door 3 open. I could see door 3 from where I stood. It was closed. The annunciator stuttered and said it again. Door 3 open. I took a photo of the lit panel and the closed door in the same frame. Proof, I told myself. I backed up and filmed a 10-second clip. The voice said it one more time. Then it stopped. The logbook at the fifth station had a sticky note. Same block letters as the insert. Read what you write only in your head. Under that, don't read the next line. I stared too long. Curiosity is a kind of gravity. I read the next line out loud. You are in North Hall now. My radio said it first by half a second. Something down the hall repeated it without a radio. A voice like mine but not mine. The freight elevator arrived by itself and opened its ribs. No call light lit. The panel blinked 13. We have only 4 floors. I filmed that too. I stepped back from the doors and they closed soft like they knew I'd moved. I radioed dispatch and said I was hearing my own voice. She said the repeater might be bouncing a recording. I asked how it bounced my words before I said them. Silence. She told me to stop reading out loud and finish early. I promised I would. I didn't. At station 6, the last line said 113 again next to my initials. My watch said 113 now, finally catching up. I flipped to yesterday's page. A note near the bottom in pencil. If you're me, don't read. I felt sick. Was this a joke? Did Sam write this to haze me? My name isn't on the employee list next to that page. But the initial style matched mine. I recorded myself saying nothing. The radio recorded me anyway, half-second early. I whispered, don't. Down the North Hall. A mouth that was either mine or an empty stairwell whispered, don't. I followed it like an idiot. No one in the stairwell. No one in the vending nook. The camera over door 3 blinked red and then died. I marked that on the log. I said it out loud by habit. Camera 3 down. My radio said it first again. So did a voice from the stair echo. I stood still until my pulse slowed. I turned the page to the back. Someone had written rules that weren't in the insert. Don't ride the elevator if it shows a number higher than 4. If you hear your name on channel 3, it isn't for you. If a page has your initials in pencil, skip that station. If you must read, whisper inside your mouth with your lips closed. I laughed once without humor. My laugh doubled back at me from down the hall. Behind me, the freight elevator chimed again. When I checked the camera feed, the screen froze at 1:13. No matter which camera I selected, the timestamp stayed there. I filmed the monitor with my phone. I needed to show Sam. I needed to show myself later when I wouldn't trust my head. On the 7th station, beneath the signature line, a sentence waited for me. Say my name. I didn't. The radio did. It used my mouth to call me from ahead and from behind, both at once. Something moved in the elevator car like a figure testing the light. The panel blinked 13 again. The doors opened like a mouth about to speak. I didn't step into the car. I turned away and forced myself to breathe. My rounds weren't done. Station 8 waited by the records room. Old paper smell. Cardboard. Dust. I wrote the time with my lips shut. Then I whispered into my teeth anyway. 1:31. My radio said it first by a sliver. I had an idea that felt bad. I printed a word in the corner. Anchor. I closed the book and walked to station 9. When I opened that one, anchor was already there. Same slant. Same pencil pressure. New time written under it. 1:13. My watch said 1:33. Why was everything insisting on 1:13? I took a picture of both pages, both anchors. Proof again. The radio hissed like someone moved it across fabric. A voice not quite mine said, "Don't read the rest." I flipped the page fast. Paragraph waited in tiny letters. A story voice, first person, my name at the top. I won't type it all because typing it made me say it. I sounded it anyway, a sentence at a time under my breath. The PA in the lobby clicked on and said each sentence half ahead. Not the radio now. The building. Every speaker repeated me before I could be me. Every ceiling tile watched in my head. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Stop reading. Then a message from me with my face as the icon. Stop. I opened my contact card. My own number blinked like a cursor. Another text from the office line. Finish and lock up. She never texts at night. She calls. I called her back anyway. Voicemail. I switched to channel 3 as a test. Nothing but air for a second. Then my voice, from a hallway I wasn't in, read the paragraph again. I pressed the talk button and said, "Identify." The reply said, in my tone, "You are me." I stood very still and looked at my hands. I looked at the pen. My knuckles were dirty with graphite. The freight elevator dinged like a metronome. Every 10 seconds, the doors opened and closed. The number 13 glowed when they parted. I moved away and the panel blanked. I moved closer and it woke like an eye. I said nothing. The PA said my name anyway. I ran a quick test to feel sane. I wrote an X softly under the line on station 10. I walked 30 paces, then turned back. A fresh X waited on the next page. Same softness. I filmed my hand, the page, then the next page. Undeniable, my brain whispered. I wanted to leave. The rule sheet said to finish. I compromised by speeding up and staying silent. The building didn't like it. Door 3 stuttered open on the panel again. I held the camera to the window and filmed the closed door. The PA said open while my camera saw shut. I felt watched from the return air grill. A breath from it puffed my hair. I stepped left and the breath followed. I started talking like an idiot to nothing. You win. The speaker said, you win first, and the elevator chimed. That broke something in me. I read the logbook cover to cover. Every word. Every name. Every time. The PA sprinted ahead. The announcements followed my future mouth. I heard footsteps align with my lines. When I read north, something walked north. When I read stairs, the stairwell breathed. When I read freight, the doors opened like a question. I got to the end and there was a blank box. Lines for comments. Handwriting already there, mine though I hadn't written yet. I'm sorry, it said. Stop talking. Leave it alone. The minute hand on my watch quivered and slid backward one notch. Back to 1:13. My stomach turned to cold air. Somewhere, keys rattled. Not my keys. A janitor ring? A mimic? The sound stopped exactly when I thought about it. Then footsteps came, matched to my heart rate. Slow. Faster. Slow. I read the sentence, "I'm leaving now," because I needed to believe it. The PA said it first. Something moved behind me when it did. I didn't look. I walked to the lobby with my eyes on the exit bar. The night air pressed the glass. I pushed. The door didn't budge. Maglock still on. The release timer had frozen at 1:13. I called dispatch on my cell. No ring. I called my brother. Straight to voicemail. I hit record and narrated the time and the stuck door for later. The PA nested my words in front like a parent walking a toddler. I went to the office and pulled the mag key. The lights stayed red. I swiped again. Red. I read the emergency override line in the binder. The PA read it just ahead and the lock clicked. Green. I stumbled into the cold and didn't stop until the lot opened around me. My car watched me like an animal. I sat and shook and listened to the building breathe through vents I couldn't see. My radio on the seat whispered my name. I turned it off. I drove home. I told myself I'd quit in the morning. At my door, my porch speaker clicked on by itself. Nothing else in the house was awake. It said my name before I unlocked the deadbolt. I didn't go in right away. I sat on the steps and opened my phone. The videos were there. Door 3 closed while the panel said open. The elevator showing a floor we don't have. My radio speaking before me. In the last clip, I watched my hand turn a page. I hadn't filmed that angle. The phone shook in a way my hands don't. And my voice, my future mouth, read a line I had never said. If you're me, don't read out loud. I didn't sleep. I didn't quit. I showed Sam the proof. He mouthed, don't read.